Hi, and welcome to week seven's environmental lecture this week. We're going to be looking at other alternative energy sources besides wind, which we have covered before. One of the interesting, to me at least, as being a geologist, sources for alternative energy is geothermal energy. And geo is the world and thermal means heat. So places in the world where you have magma that's risen towards the surface and it's producing a heat source there, actually you can take that heat, the water that comes out of it, and you can generate energy from it. Now, Iceland is situated along a place where it's a continuous volcano, and so tapping into the geothermal energy there, actually 90% of that country's electricity comes from geothermal energy. In the United States, there is a place in California called the Geysers Project, where they are actually taking wastewater from agriculture and sewage, and they are pumping it into the ground into an area where there's higher heat, and when the heat comes back up as steam, they're capturing that energy. So there is a great potential in areas where you have a higher thermal gradient in the Earth's crust to capture it. The second type is solar energy, and most of you have heard about solar energy. There are two types that are captured. The first type is thermal energy, and it takes the radiation and the heat from the earth and it stores it and it transfers it into energy. And the other is called solar, where it takes the rays from the sun and it transfers it into energy. So this is one of the types of alternative energies that have been around for quite a long time and most people have heard about. One of the things that they're looking at now is because these photovoltaic cells have become smaller and much more efficient, they can capture more energy in a smaller space. There are places in the world, such as in northern Africa, where you have continuous sun most of the time. And they're actually putting together a plant-sized solar field so that they can capture that energy, and then they're going to make money on it because they're going to take what they don't use and they're actually going to transport it to Europe. So that's a place where you can take a renewable resource, they will build the infrastructure for you, and you can make money while powering your country at the same time. The third type is hydroelectric, and that's where you have a dam or something and the water flows through it. It turns the turbines, which generates energy, and then the water flows out. When we looked at wind energy last week, China has huge plans. They already have a lot of their energy coming from wind energy, but they also have huge plans. They already have a good basis, huge plans for increasing their hydroelectric power. They have the Three River Gorges, which is produces about a gigawatt of power, and that's enormous. And they're planning on even scaling different areas on that river and along other rivers to generate this alternative energy source. Some that we haven't that aren't widely known but are becoming known now. One is tidal energy. So when you have the tides come in and out, you can actually put collectors there, and they will capture the energy that's translated through the movement, and they will store up that potential. They'll take that kinetic energy and they'll store it as the potential energy, and then they can harvest that energy. One of the large ones that's coming and that is online in the North Sea off of Scotland is wave energy. And because of the currents in the North Sea, there's constantly a large wave generation that's coming through that area. So they have these boats that have these collectors off of it, and they capture the energy as it passes through the wave and it stores it. So a lot of different ways are being created now to have new energy sources. There is one where they're making a tile that collects solar energy that you can actually pave your driveway with. There's another one that when you step on it, by the pressure of your foot or even pavement stones when you drive over it, that pressure energy can be stored. So there are a lot of new ways that are being created that eventually will become commercially available for us to use. The last thing is when we have existing infrastructure in the United States that's not efficient, in Portland they have to replace a lot of the underground pipes for water transmission. And what they've done in these pipes is they have placed little turbines. So when the water comes through and it passes, they can capture the energy and harvest it and then send it off. So there are a lot of, we talked about blue strategies. There are a lot of opportunities in the alternative energy field for people to come up with new ideas to capture energy that's good for the environment, that can help communities such as Northern Africa, and that will take carbon dioxide emissions out of the air. So I hope that some of this was interesting to you. You're going to have a small project about this week, and if you have any questions, send me an email and I'll get back to you. Thanks for listening.